Hello everyone, myself Mazmina Begum. Today we are going to start with a new topic, that is the UNO and Human Rights Commission. So this will be the last topic of your second chapter, okay? So this is a very important topic of discussions, okay? And before discussing about the UN's perspective on human rights, it is necessary for us to know about what are human rights, okay? So what are human rights? Human rights are the basic rights of human beings which are inherent in them by birth, okay? And helps them to live a dignified life, okay? So inherent means what? Inherent means the rights which are inbuilt in them by birth, okay? So these are also inalienable rights. That means these are inseparable in character, which cannot be separated from the human beings, okay? So this is all about what is human rights. Clear? So it is a universal concept and it is also a legal concept, okay? So why it is a universal concept? Because people of all over the world today is now concerned with the issues of human rights, yes? So this is a very significant issue, yes? Like the environmental issue, the issue of human right is also much more importance all over the world. So we can say that this is a universal concept, this is a legal concept which helps to uphold the human dignity, liberty, equality and fraternity all over the world, okay, without any kinds of discriminations. Clear? Okay, so finally it can be said that these are the basic minimum requirements for the survival of human beings in the society. So in order to live in the society, in order to survive in the society, these rights are very essential, okay? So now the thing is that we have seen that there are advanced law and order system, advanced judicial system in almost every democratic nations of the world, isn't it? Yes? So in spite of the presence of this advanced law and order system, in spite of the presence of this advanced judicial system, why the human rights violation cases are taking place? So this is a big question mark, yes? Why the human rights violation cases are taking place all over the world in spite of the presence of this advanced judicial and law and order system, right? So we can also point out different rape cases, different cases of murders, dowry, witch killing, mob lynching, gender inequality, sexual assaultations, etc., isn't it? So all these cases emerge as the day-to-day problems of the society, yes, which is violating the human rights of the victims to a greater extent, isn't it? So we can also give some examples here. So I would like to give you one of the example of the recent example of a human rights violation case, that is of George Floyd. I think every one of you knows the name, isn't it? So George Floyd, he is a black man from USA and he has been killed recently. He was killed recently by a white police officer, right? So this is one of the important human right violation case which is to be noted, okay? Next, in case of Assam also we can say the Abhinil murder case, right, of Karbi Anglong, Assam, okay? Again, Nirbhaya rape case of Delhi, India. So here we can say, so these are some of the cases of human rights violation, okay? So we can say that these different human rights violation cases are taking place not only in India but also in abroad from time to time. So UNO is taking a lot of efforts in solving these issues and in protecting the rights of human beings, okay? So UNO is taking initiative to protect the human rights all over the world. For that purpose, the UN Human Rights Commission was set up on 16th of February 1946. So, on 16th February 1946, the United Nations Human Rights Commission was set up. Okay. Moreover, United Nations organizations also adopted the UDHR on 10 December 1948. So what is this UDHR? UDHR implies Universal Declarations of Human Rights. Okay. And since then, 10 December is celebrated as the World's Human Rights Day all over the world every year, okay? So we have come to know that UNO is taking a lot of initiatives in protecting the human rights all over the world. Clear? Okay. So its basic objective, what is the basic objectives of this UDHR? Yes, so its basic objective is to secure the rights of human beings all over the world, okay? And it also says that all the member states should take initiative to implement these rights for protecting and securing the citizens of their respective state. Okay, so these are the two basic objectives of this UN Human Rights Commissions, and it also includes under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Clear? Okay, so now we will go to the National Human Rights Commission. Yes, basically we will discuss about India. So before going to the issue of India, it is necessary for us to know that in the year 1966, the UNO adopted a resolution and it sought suggestions from all its member states regarding the formations of human rights commissions in the respective state. Yes, so in 1966, UNO wanted its member states to adopt the National Human Rights Commissions for their respective states. Yes, and this became successful in the year 1993 when there was a Human Rights Commissions conference held in Vienna. Okay, so after this conference held in Vienna, United Nations Human Rights Commissions conference that was held in Vienna, it was made bound that all the member states of UNO should adopt different national human rights commissions for protecting the rights of its citizens. Yes, and immediately after that, in the year 1993, what happened? The President of India threw an ordinance from the National Human Rights Commission. So it was on 28th of September 1993, the National Human Rights Commission was formed. Okay, again in the same year, the bill was tabled in the parliament. Okay, so on 18th of December of 1993, the bill was tabled in the parliament in place of that ordinance, and finally the president gave his assent on the bill on 8th January 1994. So ultimately the National Human Rights Protection Act was formed, and this is known as the National Human Rights Protection Act of 1993. Why 1993? Because the bill was tabled in the parliament in the year 1993. Clear? So this is about the National Human Rights Commissions. So now let us discuss about the formations of the National Human Rights Commissions. So who are the members included within the National Human Rights Commissions? Obviously there will be a chairman, isn't it? And the chairman should be a retired Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Okay, so other member, one of the member must be either a retired or serving Chief Justice of the High Court. One member must be either retired or serving Judge of the Supreme Court. Okay, and two members must be a person, that means two members must be human rights activists, that means the person who have knowledge in the field of human rights. Okay, so apart from it, the person the persons like, that means the chairman of the National Minority Commissions, the chairman of the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Commissions, the chairman of Women's Commissions. So all these are also included as the members of National Human Rights Commissions. Okay, so this is all about the formation of the National Human Rights Commissions, compositions of National Human Rights Commissions. So these members are appointed by the President of India. We know that all the major appointments of India is done by the President, right? So the President of India appoints the members of the National Human Rights Commissions for a tenure of 5 years. Okay. So now, what are the basic functions of this National Human Rights Commissions? We have come to know that National Human Rights Commission is formed. Its basic function is to protect the rights of the human beings. Yes, to protect the basic human rights of every individual, to secure their rights, to help them to live a dignified life. Okay. And they also review different human rights violation cases. Okay, so different human rights violation cases takes place. So their main motive is to review these human rights violation cases, and they also prepare a report on it and they show it to the government for necessary actions. Okay, so this is all about National Commissions of Human Rights, basically of India. Okay. So now, like the National Commission of Human Rights, different states are also adopting the State Commission of Human Rights. Okay, so our state also adopted a State Commission of Human Rights, that is Assam Human Rights Commissions, and this commission was adopted on 19th of March 1996. So now we have come to know that the human rights is such a significant issue, is such a important and notable issue that it got its significance not only in the state level, not only in the national level, but in the international level also, isn't it? So this is a greater topic that is necessary for each and every people to give importance. Okay, thank you so much.